A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. I'm Ritwika Gupta. From boardrooms to policy tables, renewable energy has become central to India's growth story and global ambitions. Tonight, we bring you an exclusive conversation with Rahul Munjal, Chairman and Managing Director, Hero Future Energies, who speaks to me about scaling green power, fostering innovation, and positioning India at the forefront of the global energy shift. Welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, Mr. Munjal. It's so good to have you on the show today.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Mr. Munjal, I can't help but talk about the big story that's making the news these days. Now, we are living in incredibly volatile times with global conflicts unfolding and tariffs disrupting markets across the world. It's against this backdrop that our theme for the show this season is Agility, Ambition, Ascend. So to start off, tell us, how do you think Indian businesses can adapt to this new climate of economic uncertainty?
You know, it's interesting what you're asking. It's about volatility. But if you step back, what we've always learned in business, everything is about change. Volatility is nothing but change. I think companies which are ahead of the pack are always the ones making change or disrupting or making sure change happens. So volatility is nothing else but change. I don't think we should fear volatility. I don't think we should look at it in a negative word. The problem is when you say change, it could be positive, but when you say volatility, it has a negative connotation. But change is good, change is important, change is needed. So we are actually in a world that is changing extremely rapidly. And you know what? With AI coming in over the next few years, it's going to change even faster. If you think it's volatile now, wait till you see what's going to happen in the next 36 months or 48 months. So I think we should embrace ourselves, get ready,
Sure.
and get ready for some real positive change. And in this change is opportunities. There's going to be opportunities, all kinds of opportunities for different kinds of people in different industries, especially in my industry, in renewables. There's going to be a lot of change happening, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity that will be built.
So with the ongoing tariff tensions disrupting global clean energy supply chains, what opportunities do you see for Indian solar manufacturers and developers?
Absolutely. This is a fantastic question, and I'll give you a small example. You know, a couple of years back, America had announced an IRA. IRA was nothing but a $450 billion program for climate change. And with that kind of money that they had offered, lots of people, projects, industries, technology, everything kind of flooded the American market. They left the rest of the world and they focused their attentions there. But now, with IRA having gone, they've come back and they're looking for opportunities all over the world. You see, so again, it's about change, it's about opportunities. Today, the supply chain is changing. We have a massive wind supply chain in India. We have a big solar supply chain that we are building in India. And now we're going to have a massive battery supply chain that we're going to manufacture in India. So supply chains are changing as well. So the volatility, which I like to call change is bringing about lots of disruption. And the disruption means India will manufacture its own wind turbines, its own solar turbines for its own consumption.
Now, India has set ambitious targets for RE capacity by 2030. What structural or policy shifts do you believe are absolutely non-negotiable if India wants to lead the global energy transition?
Absolutely. You know, I've been in this business for almost 12 years, 13 years now. Since the time I've been looking at this business, it's been almost 14 years. So we've seen it very, very closely. It used to be a wind industry. Then it turned into a solar industry, then it became a hybrid industry, and I'll just talk about that a little bit in some time. But it's an evolving industry. It keeps changing every couple of years. And the biggest thing that we've seen is the previous government, when they were here, they had a 20 gigawatt program. When this government came in, it came in with a 100 gigawatt program. And now we're going to have a 500 gigawatt program. So whatever we've done in the past 10 years has worked. Let's understand India is number 3 when it comes to wind energy, when it comes to solar energy, and when it comes to battery storage. So we are doing a really, really good job. So whatever we are doing is working. And we need to keep ensuring we continue to do what we do, what we've done well now. We made REIs like SECI and other companies to aggregate power demand from DISCOMs and give out tenders. That's worked really well. We should continue to do that, even at maybe a bigger scale and size. Secondly, we've encouraged India to be a manufacturing hub for solar and for wind and for battery storage through different government schemes. We should continue to do that, and we should build more and more and more and create that industry that manufactures in India. That's the other thing that's working. What's working is renewables is already at 260 gigawatts in India. And historically, if you see the map of where all the wind and solar sites are, and you compare that with a map of where the grid was, they don't overlap. But today, we've created a grid which reaches these sites where there's wind or solar. So we need to continue to do that as well. We need to continue to build out the grid. What else have we done? The renewable industry requires a lot of land. And the land reforms have taken place, digitization of reforms has taken place. So we need to continue all this. So the point is, what do we need to continue? What do we need to do? We need to do what we've been doing. We've been doing something right, but we need to do that at a much larger scale, at a much faster scale. And we need to do that with a vision of saying not only 500 gigawatts, what's next after that?
So, Mr. Munjal, from launching Easy Bill, one of India's earliest fintech models, to scaling Hero Future Energies globally, what are the key entrepreneurial lessons you've carried across industries?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, I have a certain way of working. And every entrepreneur has their own style. And I think mine works for me. And I'll tell you what I believe in and what I've learned with Easy Bill or with Hero Future Energies. You need to make sure you have the smartest people in the room working for you. That is the key. That's number one.
Sure.
And number two is when you have people who are smarter than you, you need to delegate. You need to tell them, my friend, buddy, whatever, this is your job. You need to do it. You need to help them. You need to hold them accountable. So firstly, get smart people. Secondly, hold them accountable. Thirdly, reward them. But at the same time, if they're not able to perform, replace them. Don't feel shy. So you need to delegate to the right people, and that's the style that I've used. I used it at Easy Bill. You are right, we were the first fintech company, and now we were one of the early movers at renewables at Hero Future Energies here, and I've used the same style here, and it's worked very well for us.
Sure. And tell us what excites you most about the role of emerging tech like AI, storage, blockchain in transforming clean energy economics and accessibility.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question that you're asking. AI, blockchain, and battery storage. And there is many ways one can slice and dice this conversation. Let me just start by telling you, after 20 years, this was the first year, last year was the first year where the energy consumption in the US actually grew by 2.5–3%. And the reason it grew was because of AI, because of data centers. So first and foremost, AI and blockchain or crypto is going to lead to a very large demand of electricity, of energy. So regardless of the answer that I will give later on, first you need to realize AI's impact on energy. It's going to have a tremendous impact. So that's the first part. Secondly, like I told you earlier, we have to embrace ourselves for the volatility and the change that is coming through AI. If tariffs are shaking us up, tariffs are nothing. It's a very small piece of what's going to happen in the coming times. AI is going to change the way we do everything. And I'll just come to my industry, but before I come there, if you think about just as recently as 10 years back, everything that you thought you could use internet for compared to what you use internet for today is completely different. Especially in the future when you have robots or such machines with their own minds who are able to create or multiply themselves. We are living in a very, very different world to which we live in today. So the change is coming. We need to embrace it. As far as change to energy, there is almost every part of the industry that I think of today, we will need AI, be it manufacturing, be it predicting wind, solar, be it smartening the grids, be it better contracts that we have with our vendors or with the electricity companies. So no matter where I see, AI is going to make a complete, it's going to overhaul our systems, our businesses completely, 100% sure of that. That's AI. Coming to storage, let me just tell you the importance of storage.
Sure.
Renewables, as I said, we've been in the business for about 12 years now. There were two problems with renewables. One, it was very, very expensive. And the second problem with renewables was it was intermittent. And that's why the electricity companies did not like renewables, saying that, you only give me electricity when you can generate it. But now, thanks to the cost coming down today, the cost of renewables has gone down by over 90% in the last 10 years. There's not too many industries where you can say that, but I'm very proud to tell you, by over 90% just in the last decade itself. So the cost we've taken care of. The second problem was intermittency. But now, by doing hybrids, complex projects that we are focused on, where we do wind energy, solar energy, and we put battery storage, we're able to give round-the-clock, 24/7 power through sources which are intermittent. So storage plays a very, very vital role. This is how this renewable power becomes firm and dispatchable power, and you can compare it to other such powers like thermal, etc. And guess what? This is at a cost which is far cheaper than thermal and at a speed which is far greater. When I say speed, let me tell you what that means. If we put up a plant, from the day we win a bid, within 24 months, the plant is up and running and we start supplying energy. Whereas if you put up a thermal plant today, it probably takes 5 years, if not 6 or 7. So we are faster and we are more reliable and we are cheaper. So that's where storage comes in. So you asked me about why is storage important. This is what makes storage important. And the third, you said blockchain. Blockchain is extremely interesting and it's going to come in a little bit later, because in my mind, I'm very clear, lots of people who have rooftops would have solar rooftops, or who have EV cars will have electric cars. And there'll be lots and lots of trading of energy between cars, rooftops, and it'll be peer-to-peer. You wouldn't obviously be dealing with the discom. It'll all happen automatically. And blockchain will play a key role in these transactions. And we won't even know it before we know it. Almost everybody is either manufacturing power or storing power or selling power, buying cheap, selling high, or vice versa, right? So there's going to be a whole new ecosystem of power trading that's going to come in thanks to blockchain. So I feel these three are going to be extremely important, extremely integral, and they're going to come sooner than we think.
It's time for a quick break. Here, we'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. In conversation today with Rahul Munjal, Chairman and Managing Director, Hero Future Energies, exploring opportunities for MSMEs in driving India's renewable energy push and mega trends set to shape the sector over the next decade. Listen in. So as the global energy landscape becomes increasingly competitive, self-reliance in clean energy is emerging as both an economic and strategic priority for India. How can India balance its clean energy goals with the need to localize manufacturing and reduce strategic dependence?
Absolutely. I think this is a fantastic question. I must say, we need to appreciate India. We need energy security, and one of our largest bills today is import of energy, and we need to reduce our import of energy by as much as we can. And the best way of doing it today, where the technology exists, is by starting to generate our own energy. By that I mean generate our own electricity. And God has blessed us with 365 days of sunshine throughout most parts of India, and it has blessed us with some really good states with lots and lots of wind. So we have about 7 or 8 states in India where we get really good wind energy, and we have lots of states in India where we have lots of solar energy. So now, the more we generate ourselves, the less we need to import, the lesser energy we need to import. So energy security is important. We should try and, over the next couple of years, over the next decade, try and make sure if we can take our energy import bill almost to zero. I don't think it will be zero over the next decade or so, but let's see how far we can get there. We can do, electricity can come through energy, electricity can come through renewables. For transport, you need oil and gas, which can then move to hydrogen and other derivatives like methanol and ammonia. And then for hard-to-abate sectors like cement and steel, we can move to green hydrogen again. So there is a way of cleanly, low carbon or no carbon, moving to alternate fuels which are produced in India and for India. So thereby reducing our dependence on the rest of the world.
Mr. Munjal, what potential do you see for MSMEs and startups to contribute meaningfully in this sector, whether through localized manufacturing or last mile energy access?
As the sector grows, and the sector has grown extremely rapidly, if you see over the last decade or so, we've actually had really good growth, and I think we'll continue to see that growth over the next decade or so. And as the industry is maturing, we need a lot of MSME, and we need a lot of startups to come in and support us in every different way. You talk about any field, and I'll give you examples on how we need them. For example, we'll need players who are better at only predicting wind. Maybe they are AI players, maybe they are tech players who decide, who can draw out or who can model how the wind is going to behave and how wind patterns are going to behave, similar for the sun. So there's a lot of tech world involved in understanding how the wind and sun and the resources are changing. There is a lot of tech involved where we talk about materials. What are the materials that batteries use today and what will they use tomorrow? How do you make sure a battery can last longer, can be built cheaper, can be built faster? So there's a lot of material sciences that goes into that. There's a lot of chemical sciences that goes into that. There's a lot of tech that will come through AI, through legal, etc. How can you kind of standardize all the, we have lots and lots of vendors that we deal with. There's a lot of discoms that we deal with. We have long-term PPAs. So there's a lot of tech that can get involved there. And how do you kind of standardize that or take that to the next level? Then, of course, eventually there's going to be, right now, there isn't much of next day trading of power. Trading of power becomes very, very large itself over the next coming few years. So how do you create that industry? And in order to create that industry, you'll need data scientists, you'll need mathematicians, you'll just need just about everybody. So regardless of which field you are looking at, there are examples of what we can do in this industry. And we need super specializations, and we need people we can outsource a lot of the work to. Like almost every industry, we started off doing everything ourselves, but as the size and scale grows much larger, we'd like to find specialists who can do certain things and offload that work to them.
And well, with technology, policy and capital flows reshaping the energy landscape at unprecedented speed, anticipating the next wave of change is becoming critical for long-term success. What are the mega trends Indian businesses and investors should prepare for in the renewable energy sector over the next 5 to 10 years?
So mega trends is a really, really good word, and I love the word mega trend because it means this is where the world is headed. So let me just talk a little bit about the trends and mega trends, and I'm going to repeat some of the things that I said. So the biggest trend is that to decarbonize, and for economic reasons, the world has realized, India has realized, renewables are an integral part of new energy that the country needs. India is growing extremely rapidly. Energy demand in India is growing extremely rapidly. As India becomes more middle class and we start consuming more white goods, the need for electricity will grow even further from where we are today. So how do we come up, how do we cater to this demand? We of course cater to this demand in a low carbon emission way, and that's the way to do it is renewables. And like I told you earlier, renewables will have to be done where you make renewables into a firm power, and you take care of intermittency, so by hybrid. So the first is these complex projects that I talked about, or hybrid projects, these become a mainstay. We do most of the projects that we don't do plain solar or plain wind. We do hybrid complex projects to take care of energy needs when there is energy demand. That's a big mega trend. And the second trend, and the second mega trend is that going forward, to take care of climate change, as you would have seen, we're sitting here in the summer. This is the hottest summer we've seen in the world. So we need to decarbonize all hard-to-abate sectors as well as transportation. For hard-to-abate sectors, we use green hydrogen, and we use methanol and ammonia and other such derivatives, and we find solutions. And as far as transportation goes, we use hydrogen and EVs. So these are the trends. I think we stick to these trends. We know what they are. We know what needs to be done. Most of this technology, the world already has, we already have, India already has, Hero Future Energy already has. We take this knowledge, we take this technology, and we try and increase it, and we try and make sure we expand as much as we can. And we do it now, and we do it in this decade, and we try and take care of climate change before it gets much worse.
Finally, where do you see Hero Future Energies by 2030 in terms of capacity, technology, and global footprint?
Yeah, where do we see Hero Future Energies in 2030? We feel Hero Future Energies, when we kept the name Hero Future Energies, it was all about the future of energy. We were amongst the first ones to do wind, then we were the first ones to do solar, then we were amongst the first companies to do wind-solar hybrid. We were one of the first people to do a large-scale solar rooftop project. We were the first ones to do a green hydrogen pilot, where we took green hydrogen and we used it along with LNG.
Absolutely.
So we look at ourselves as a clean tech company. We always like to see what is the next best thing, what is the future of energy, and we like to adopt it. So I hope by 2030 we would have adopted a lot more technologies to begin with. So that's the first thing I think we can see or expect from Hero Future Energies. The next is, we feel we are playing our part in building the nation, helping and growing with the nation. We would continue to do so. We'd continue to help development of the nation. And while we are doing this, we continue to do it in a zero carbon or a low carbon emission way. So we can also fight the climate change fight while creating a country which has abundant energy.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Munjal. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you. Nice talking to you as well.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. We hope you enjoyed the conversations. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.